Good morning, or it's already noon. It's Sunday. I'm staying at Lake Doiran in Macedonia, and it's disgustingly hot. It's almost 40 degrees Celsius, and this is too hot for me. I personally don't like this weather. You know, up to 30 I can handle, but above 30, I have a hard time. I have light skin. I'm from the north, and don't like this. Anyway, I will head down for lunch and for a swim in a bit, and just taking it easy Sunday, Day of the Lord. I wanted to talk about a personal topic today, how I got into music production. And this doesn't happen overnight, it's a process. Let's start at the beginning. Me and my friend, we were staying in Benidorm. I like Benidorm, not for too long, because yeah, you don't want to live there all year round, but we were staying there for a month. He drove with me to the Spain, staying there, chilling, and good time. And he was like, "Is this it?" And I was like, "What you talking about?" Yeah, where's the action? So I searched like a rave, a big party, crazy techno club of Spain, one of the clubs of the famous La Ruta Destroy or La Ruta de Bacalao. And yeah, so we went to the club and took some acid, you know. This is my drug of choice when raving, acid. I love acid for a whole lot of reasons, and I can have a long video about acid that I will have in the future. But anyway, just took some acid, got to the club. Early on the night, we went to the outside. There were like teepees there, and there was two girls sitting there. We approached the girls, we had to talk, and the girl was interested in me. And this girl is also an important part of the story of how I fell in love with techno and started producing it. Anyway, like, yeah, had a beautiful night, danced the night away. Afterward, went home with her, had fun, drove back. And kind of got me hooked that night. I was like, yes, this is what partying should be like. I've been all over the Europe and I was enjoying myself. I had a party, sometimes some girls, met some people, had some conversations, had fun. But I was always, I wouldn't say disappointed because didn't know what I was missing yet at that point. But I was always like, yeah, is this it? Like it's just background music, radio stuff, something I already heard before. Like I didn't get inspired by it. It was just like, yeah, filler. But with that techno, I really felt in love with the hard kicking bass, the hard techno. This is the techno I love, like it kept me moving. It wasn't even with effort, and also with the acid, you're not lying to yourself, like some upper drug, yeah, like I really felt it, I felt it and I fell in love right then and there. I ended up going to all the clubs of La Ruta de Bacalao, and my last club was probably the most famous one. It's called Baraka. Long story about Baraka, but let's keep it short, otherwise this video takes hours. And it was the anniversary of Baraka, I think like the 52nd anniversary, and amazing night. And they closed off with Indira Paganotto. Personally, I think she's my favorite techno DJ even up until this point. I only saw her once, she's hard to catch, like she doesn't perform anywhere all the time, so to see her for the first time at Baraka at anniversary was truly a unique experience. And after that, I completed La Ruta Destroy or La Ruta de Bacalao, and I fell in love right then and there. I was hooked on the techno. Then, it became even crazier. There was a New Year's rave, a Technival, like the unofficial ones, the illegal ones. And it was staying at like a abandoned race circuit in Murcia, Spain. 1 hour drive from the apartment I was already staying the winter at for 3 years. So yeah, that wasn't a coincidence. So we went to the New Year's rave. I even, like, it was not certain where the rave was going to be. It could be in Granada, it could be in Valladolid, it could be in Murcia, but it ended up being right in my backyard. I I had like a hotel booked in the city of Valencia and tickets for another party, and we decided to skip that one and go to the unofficial rave. And this was one of the best decisions of my life, you know. Take the second option because when it comes up, yeah, just do it. So we went there. We partied for like what would it be like? From the new year, we arrived like a little bit after 2, and I stayed like till the next day, like 24 hours, like till 2 again, you know. My girl had to go back to work in like 1, 2 days, so we rested in my apartment, and then she drove back. I also rested because that was an exhausting experience, but I was there, and it was like Friday, I think. The party was already going on for like 5, 6 days at that point, and I was like, "Ah, I have nothing better to do today. Let's see if the party is still alive, you know." And it was, it was. There was still like a lot of people, and I was like, yeah, I'm Dutch, so you know, all these people, whatever, you know, I just there'll probably some Dutch people there. I want to hang around with some Dutch people at this point. So I walked, and I saw like Dutch number plates, and there was a guy standing there. And I was like, "Hey, what's up? You're Dutch? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, bloody, bloody, blah. Ah, come join us." So I ended up. There were also those people. They had even their own sound system that they brought to that place. You know, all the way from Netherlands. You know, it's a cool crowd. I'm still in touch with them. Really nice people, and I learned. You know, like deep conversations at the campfire that night. You know, I learned a couple things from those guys, and they also from me. You know, because you have to bring something to the table, otherwise you're not invited. Anyway, you know, just my love for techno grew deeper, and also like with the movement, the culture, the underground vibe that goes along with it. You know, not only official venues, but the technival also create a layer of depth to it. Then I came back to the Netherlands, and I was to all my friends that I didn't see in a while. I was like, "Hey, dude, you know, we should go to a techno rave. You know, this is really cool. You know, like fucking cool party." And I always went for the music. You know, I looked up the DJs that were coming, and always a good night. You know, so we went. I took my friends. I popped their cherry in that way. You know, took them to their first raves. You know, give them a little bit of acid. You know, and welcome to the club. So because of the acid, I was always also paying attention a lot, you know, to the music, to the lights, to the visuals, to the subliminal message that was being portrayed there, and yeah, yeah, so far so good. Then I went to like big raves and big festivals in the Netherlands because yeah, you have them over there, you know, you don't even have to look for them, you know, they're just there. And it was like in June, you know, like the summer, you know, because I was so in love with the techno and the festivals and the party. I even didn't book a holiday that year, you know, I was just partying. That was my daily holiday then. And then I was satisfied with that. I was content with that. And then in June, you know, like one of my friends that already went to a rave with me, like, "Hey, what should we do this weekend?" "Oh, let's go to a techno rave." And we looked at the venue close to us in our city, and tickets weren't expensive. Was a DJ that had like a lot of Spotify listeners that was booked on a lot of festivals that summer, and we're like, "Ah, why not? Let's go there." So we went there, and it was the turning point for me, you know, because that DJ, he played horrible. You know, I knew the tracks that he was playing, and he was just playing like the fucking Spotify YouTube version of it. He wasn't even mixing them or doing anything special with them. I was like, "Dude, you little fuck," you know, like you're the one that's going on all the stages. Every week you're getting booked, and this is what you deliver, you know. Even if it's a small venue, you should always deliver, you know. You should always give the crowd something special, some inspiration or whatever, you know. Like I was like to my friend, you know, I was like, "This fucking sucks, man. This is like the worst fucking rave I've been to," you know. And my friend, he is always playing advocate of the devil, you know. And I said like, "So what, you know? Like you think you can do better?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can do better. I definitely can." And that's where it started for me, you know. I started crate digging, and getting into the music, categorizing the different vibes and atmospheres, having all these maps on your computer. If you're into music production and DJing, you probably know that process and what I'm talking about. I got really deep into it. It was like sitting in front of my computer digging for techno tracks all day, every day, putting them into set lists, and I picked up a DJ controller and learned how to mix them. This is actually not hard. I think a monkey can do it, like you can really, to learn how to DJ, you can do it in 1-2 months, nothing more is needed. This is, like it's not magic that they're doing, the tracks are already made and produced in the studio. You just have to find like the sound and when to mix them in and out. This is so easy, if you ever think DJing is hard, like you didn't grasp like the concept of what they're actually doing. It's so easy, and they should not be appreciated. A DJ that is not a producer shouldn't be on stage, in my opinion. It's just hype. It's just a model. Something they created for themselves. They're fake. They're fake. What they do barely cost any effort. Never glor, codify a DJ. Because they're not doing anything really. Like they're. Bleh. Actually, I dislike DJs so much, like the ego that goes in them, like, and the attitude that they have, this is persons and people that I don't like, like I have no respect for them in that way, So anyway, I started doing that, and then the next step comes, like, okay, I got all these sets prepared, like I got the vibe right, I got the tracks there, the real treasures of all the production that all the producers have made, I can rock the crowd, I can be better than an average DJ, it's time to start playing. So, wow, this is where I stop the video right now, because this is when I reach the topic of gatekeeping, and gatekeeping is a topic that deserves a video of their own, like it's a disgusting environment. I say like this, it's easier to get into organized crime and large-scale cocaine trafficking. This is a closed-off world that you'll not easily walk into, but really, it's easier to get into that world than into fucking DJing and performing. These cocksuckers, they are so gatekeeping, so pathetic, like I hate them with a passion, like, and this is also what drives me. Like I first have to get angry before I do something. I first have to get really fucking pissed. But then when I get pissed, the results come. This is my personality. Everybody has like a different thing that drives them. And for me, it's always like, yeah, I can do better. I will show you I can do better. And that's just the fuel to my engine. And that's what I close off the day with today. Look at that van, this is so Balkan, he has the speaker and he's probably selling like fruits in the back. Oh, I love the Balkan. It's like such an amazing place on the planet. Okay, that made me laugh, I hope you too. Hey, have a good Sunday, have a blessed day. Jesus Christ is King, and goodbye.